Okay. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Healing.
Okay. We're going to watch some stuff together because since I felt like watching some stuff anyways. Okay, let me go ahead and hopefully I'm doing this right. Been a while. Been kind of a while here. Okay. Well, shit. Okay. There we go. And look, there's the hubs coming to the rescue. Hold on. I'm trying to get a drink here. From my big gulp. My big gulp. Hey, Jessica. So I thought about watching, let's see. Steven Stern's jail phone calls had something to do with bones in her throat. Ew. Is that really the one I want to watch?
And thriving, healing and thriving. Come on. I keep thinking of Ashley when I say that. Anyway, thank God. I'm getting so much better. So yesterday I ran all over town just to get you guys some never before seen or heard stuff, we hope, in the Stephen Stearns case. More on that in a future video. I had to track down some expensive printer ink. My HP printer at home was out. Oh my goodness. Because I needed to
I
print
need
out an
November
invoice
Rain and Luminous.
and buy a money order and get it down to the state of Florida. That's case info I've been trying to get for 3 months now. So stay tuned. We'll see. More on that in a future video. And maybe more on this Tower Excel spreadsheet that the docket just sent me. We're trying to figure it out. Maybe we need a cell tower expert. Who knows? In this video, we're diving into these intriguing jail phone calls. So Stefan Stearns, he's been contacting his parents from jail from nearly the first day of his arrest when he was transferred. He was arrested February 28th, 2024, but he was transferred on March 1st, 2024. And that's when, at 10:30 a.m., Stearns was enrolled in the Osceola County Jail Inmate Calling Solutions. He made a free call to his dad, which had no talk seconds, so I'm assuming it didn't connect or whatever. But soon enough, in the ensuing weeks and months, Stefan Stearns figured it out. He learned how to speak to his parents, not only by phone, but by email.
Dude's a freaking crybaby, too. Hey, RJ.
From May 26th through June 16th, 2024. And that's not all of them, but you know, we're
He's a wah
Stearns made a
crybaby.
rash of calls to his mom and dad. In the next few videos, I plan to dig deep now that I've had time to process and really listen. And you've got to listen with both headphones. The way some of these jail calls are laid down, you got to have both sides in. You got to have two working speakers, however you're listening to it, because they'll lay it down on separate audio tracks. So some people are like, why can't I hear Stearns? That's how I felt the first time I listened to the phone calls from prison. What's his name? Ernest Williams calls. I was missing half the conversation for a long time. Anyway, ultimately, Stearns would keep calling his dad. He called him again on October 18th, 2024. They spoke for an hour. So I'm in the process of getting updates. Just stay tuned. I tell you what, it's a lot of work when, you know, you're the one on the forefront telling them, oh, invoice me for this, invoice me for that. Buying the money orders, getting them down to Florida, getting in the queue, you know, not just pulling the audio after the person who's gone first has paid for it. So no shade to those who do that. Only shade to the ones who pretend like they don't do that. Anyway, more on that later. We'll get into those calls in the future. Right now, today, in this video, I just want to talk about the May 26 calls. Throughout all these calls, ultimately, we'll talk about how Stefan Stearns is a master manipulator.
Let me see.
It's
Is
like
there,
Satan
let's speed
pretending to
this
be an
up.
angel of light. He's manipulating his parents, and of course, they want to believe in him at first. Of course, his mom more than his dad. But
Yes.
whatever was going on May 26, he really wanted to talk to his mom and dad because he kept calling back. The fourth time he called, they finally answered.
Press 1 for English. The time is 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, this sounds like
Time
more what I want to listen to.
7:31 p.m. The time is 7:35
So this,
p.m. Press 1 for English. The time is
oh God,
7:37
this guy's such a
p.m.
weirdo, dude.
Now, by the time these May 26 calls come around, he has probably been running this long con on his parents. And they just desperately want to believe in their heart of hearts that he didn't kill Madeline Soto. And he's playing with that, you'll see. But I was like, wait, how much do they know at this point? I had to remember. So I had to go back to my own video from May 18th, 2024 to see what Stefan and his parents knew at this point in time when these particular set of phone calls were recorded. And so look at this video titled 5 PDFs. Yes, that's pretty fitting title. Pretty fitting double entendre. 5 PDFs. Stefan Stearns, 1,700 files. Jennifer Soto, quote, asked to see the image, didn't recognize anything. Curl up on this rainy day here and talk about these 5 PDFs. All the stuff that's coming out in the case of Stefan Stearns. It was upsetting. Let's talk about Jennifer Soto and the image, the photo she asked police to see, her denial, how she didn't recognize anything. First of all, I gotta give thanks to The Docket. The Docket on YouTube, he sent me these 5 PDFs last night and the one audio interview of Stefan Stearns when he's talking to the cops on February 27th, lying his butt off.
So she's trying to see a perspective here. Okay.
He went live with it last night and I linked
Yeah.
to that video. If you want to hear the entire Stefan
I don't know. I might change it or just kind of watching whatever.
Because I want to talk, I think, more about the PDFs.
I just thought I'd take you guys along for the ride.
To the Docket, please give him a subscription. He gets a lot
I don't know what we're going to watch or what we're going to talk about, but
FOIAs.
I'm here. It's been crazy on YouTube tonight.
Before I launch into this whole case, the case of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who lost her life at the hands of the accused, Stefan Stearns, he's been charged with her demise. People are really angry with Jennifer Soto. Jennifer Soto is Maddie's mother, Madeline Soto's mother. And the stuff she reveals here, people are even more angry with her. But I want to talk about that. But first, I want to be a little transparent to show you guys what we do behind the scenes to try and get this stuff. The docket got a certain quote for this discovery. Now that, Stearns is participating in discovery, certain records can be released. We've been trying to get records,
Let me see.
trying to get records. The docket was
Fast
quoted a
forward
certain
through this
price.
part.
The police quoted me more than $800 for certain
Okay.
videos. I just want all the videos of when they showed up, when cops showed up, when Jennifer, an hour long if you want a refresher or if you've never seen it. But now I understand why Stefan would call his parents exactly 8 days later, after that information dropped. Those 5 PDFs dropped. The public at large definitely started finding out more about the case. They knew about Stefan's 1,700 pics and videos of Maddie at that point. We also knew about Jennifer Soto's denials. That was the name of the most recent White Lotus episode I was watching, Denials. Jennifer was
So she
claiming
was just trying to find a
the body part
perspective
herself.
here. So letting you guys know a perspective of what the parents knew when this phone call she's about to play, I guess. And I guess she's just letting us know here that I guess they would have known about the 1,700 pictures that. Can you guys stop over there? About the 1,700 pictures, I guess, that Stefan Stearns had of Maddie, which is absolutely disgusting. So I guess let's hear.
Photos. Remember, we got to see it later. We got to hear it later, her audio interview. But at this point, last year, right before these calls happened, we only had the PDFs to read, and we could read the cops' interpretation of what Jennifer was doing. And it was like, oh, she was denying everything. She was denying some stuff. She was like, yeah, I recognize that hand. Looks like Stefan's hand because I can tell the stuff around it. But then later, when it got down to the get down, it's like, oh, she didn't recognize anything, as if she was in denial. So obviously we hadn't seen Jennifer's video interviews yet. We hadn't seen Stefan's, arrest interviews yet. This stuff has been coming throughout the past year. It takes investigators and the state's attorney's office down there in Florida a while to redact some stuff, to get it to us, to, the ones where we're invoiced, the ones where we're not, just to get it over.
We might change it here.
At the house to watch Madeline. Jen got home around 10. At around 11, Jen went to sleep and told Stefan to go to sleep with Madeline in the guest bedroom upstairs.
That is so weird.
That was the last time Jen saw Madeline alive. Stefan says he dropped Madeline off at school in the morning, but Madeline never made it to school. She was murdered and discarded about 20 miles from her home. Prosecutors have charged Stefan.
It's kind of weird. Like, I understand that he's been a stepdad or whatever to her since she's like, what, like 8 or something. I don't know. I think that's kind of like too old to be cuddling with her and stuff. I think I would be a little bit creeped out by that.
Stefan with that murder, but they've also charged him with something else. Years of sexual abuse. They say they found incriminating images of Stearns abusing Madeline on his Google Drive on his phone. Abuse that goes back more than 4 years. Meanwhile, the key witness against Stearns will be Jen Soto, Madeline's mom, who has spoken at length with investigators but has not been charged with any crimes.
Incredibly tragic story. Now, Stefan Stearns, after he's
How has
arrested,
she not been arrested?
has a phone call with his parents. And I think he knows, I think the parents know, I think everyone knows, those calls are recorded. Let's take a listen to this call, because one of the big issues in this case and trying to figure it out, because there's surveillance video of Madeline at different times, is trying to figure out from the timeline, when did Madeline die? As we listen to this part of the phone call, it's interesting. I mean, what we're hearing from Stefan Stearns himself. So let's listen. Again, this is him after he's arrested speaking with his parents.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that. And
What the hell? Shaking her awake.
deserved a
Well, I
lot.
wish you had too. I wish you had too. 'Cause maybe she could have been saved, but
She was beyond that.
Okay. Oh my god. So first he was like, "Oh, I wish I would have, shook her, and then, well, why would you wish to do that if she, then you're gonna say she was beyond being saved? So stop, Bandit."
Can't move.
Where's Athena? Is Athena over there? Is Athena over there?
No,
Oh.
no. Keep going my hand.
Bandit, stop. You're being disruptive.
Hey, I'm in my hand. So you can choose this
I don't know. This guy, the way he just like wants to act like, oh, well, she was beyond being saved. I don't know. This seems weird.
okay.
That ice cold and just
She
gone.
was in a different part of the house?
Yeah.
That ice cold and just gone. But yet you just wanted to say you wish you would have shook her awake. Dude, you're not making any fucking sense, dude. You're such a freaking liar.
She wasn't with you?
Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while I was sort of just walking around and, haunting around the house like I do.
Oh my god, what a creep, dude. This guy is a fucking creep. Haunting around the house? Oh, just haunting around the house like I do. Dude sounds like my freaking creepy stepdad that I had. He would haunt around the house too. Ew. This guy's creepy.
Sometimes I go out.
They talk like that. Another person that kind of talks like that and like riddles and stuff is Jody Sue. You know what I mean? They kind of talk similar. I wonder if has this dude been diagnosed like a psychopath? Because maybe if he's similar to Jody Sue, it might say a lot about, like, if we know his diagnosis, then we may figure out Jody Sue's and what's wrong with her. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. What's wrong with her is she drinks a little too much.
Walks at night, or I just sit on the couch and just fiddle around on my phone, or just, I don't sleep well at night, especially when I've got to be up early and do something the next day.
Yeah.
And that was the case. So
Wait, what did he say about not sleeping well? Let me see what he just said.
sometimes I go out for walks at night, or I just sit on the couch and just fiddle around on my phone, or just, I don't sleep well at night, especially when I've got to be up early and do something the next day.
I'm the same way about that. Like, here, let me grab him. I'll take him so he won't. Spoiling the fun. Oh.
He's just mad now. He don't want to.
What is that? No, I don't want him now. I don't want him now. He looks like a gremlin.
He likes my zipper. You can't move for him. Turn my zipper off.
Are you okay? Calm down, buddy. It's okay.
You thought I was picking at him. I'm running.
You okay?
He was chewing my zipper off over here. That's the whole thing. I played it more.
Jeez Louise.
My coat moved or anything.
Okay. I really wanted to hear that though. See, so
sit on the couch and just go on the phone or just, I don't sleep well at night, especially when I've got to be up early and do something the next day.
I'm like that.
And that was the case. So by the time I realized anything was wrong, it was
She was in a different part of the house when you found that out.
she was still upstairs.
He is so weird. This is so weird. Like talking in freaking circles, dude. It's so annoying, guys. Oh my god. Is this get frustrating to you guys? Like, are you trying to do this mental gymnastics in your head too? Like, listening to this? Like, what the hell? Like, he's just talking in circles. He's literally saying a lot of stuff and just not saying a bunch of stuff but not saying anything at all. You know what I mean? Ew, you just sneezed on me in my face. And you like to eat cat poop. Ew. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was alone there.
She was upstairs and he had left her. Okay? In this home, there's bedrooms downstairs, there's bedrooms upstairs. Stephen Stearns was upstairs, and he said he left her upstairs. Brings us to the first question in our investigation, and it's an important one, extremely important one. Did Madeline die in Stephen Stearns' bed? Is that where she died? And obviously, according to prosecutors, is that where she was murdered? Here with us, he's followed this case from the beginning. Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas and creator and host of Grizzly True Crime Channel on YouTube. She too has been following this case closely and owns this case on YouTube. Gisela Kay is with us as well. Thank you both. Cody, I want to start with you just to try to clarify for everyone. He's talking about upstairs, downstairs. What can you tell us and what have we learned about the living arrangements inside this home?
Well, Vinny, most of what we've learned about the living arrangements have come from interviews that Jen Soto, Madeline's mother, has done with police and investigators following Madeline's death. And through those interviews, we learned that Stephen was messy. The house was messy. The way Stephen lived gave Jen Soto anxiety when they originally, both of them two, lived on the bottom floor. But take a listen to this portion of a police interview where Jen Soto tells investigators that she told Stephen that he had to move to an upstairs bedroom. Take a listen.
He's not a very clean guy. He's kind of a little hoarder, a collector. So just my house was always a mess and never the way that I wanted it to look. Or the clutter just gave me anxiety. So I asked him to move upstairs and he did.
So Vinny, Stephen obliges and moves upstairs to that bedroom. This is where things get a little dicey. And again, in another police interview, Jen Soto details the sleeping arrangements once Stearns did move upstairs. And this is where she tells investigators that she would send Madeline to sleep with Stephen alone without her. And remember, Stephen is not her biological dad. She'd send her daughter to sleep alone in the room in the same bed as Stephen in an arrangement that is non-traditional to most. Take a listen to this.
And once he moved up to bedroom 4,
I think
there instances where Madeline would sleep alone upstairs with him?
I'm gonna say
too old for that. Like, I don't know. That would definitely make me uncomfortable. I don't know. That's weird to me. I mean, I know that he had been in her life for several years, but like it'd be one thing if like he was in her life since she was like super young, but he just got in her life like when she was like 8 or something, isn't that? I think so. I find it like really weird. Grizzly has been following a case in my area of Connecticut about the boy who was locked away for 20 years by stepmom. Yeah, like that is crazy too. We could check that out here in a second.
I want you to think carefully before you answer, because obviously we've gone through your phone and we've seen all the conversations that you've had with Stefan. So it's clear that that's occurring. So I'm giving you the chance to answer the question.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how many times it's happened.
Okay. Why are you allowing that to occur?
I saw Stefan as someone that I completely trusted with my life, my child's life. I thought he had cared for her as a father would. He had been in her life for more than half of it, playing the father role. I thought he cared for her the way I did.
So, Vinny, regardless of what she was saying, Stefan's playing the father role, that he cared for her the same way Jen did. It's almost as if you can still hear some of the hesitation in her voice as she tells investigators that her daughter was sleeping with this strange man, really. She knew him, but it still wasn't her father.
No, it wasn't her stepfather either. They weren't married. There was nothing official. There was a guy who was, well, we'll get to that. Gisela, let me ask you, is it clear now from these phone conversations and the rest of the evidence that she died in that bed?
I think those jail calls are so incriminating, because not only does it pair up with Jen Soto saying, I sent them upstairs, and Madeline Soto's phone showing that the data shows it went upstairs, but now Stefan Stone's literally saying it started there. I don't know what he means by it in the jail calls, but he's saying it all started there, and then he went downstairs for a bit, and then he went back up to check on her, and she was already gone. So yes, I do think that's the most plausible scenario now, is that she was murdered upstairs in bedroom number 4.
And when we say bedroom number 4, in this house, there's multiple people, right? There's other folks upstairs? Because he's saying that he goes downstairs and leaves her up there. So I'm wondering in my mind, what
is PTSD?
Breaking news tonight, a murder suspect now claiming he has PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, after he finds Maddie Soto, finds her already ice cold with blue lips. This revealed in a stunning secret jailhouse recorded call. He's also whining about his mattress and his food, and we learned as he's whining to mommy and daddy on the phone, he actually blames Maddie's mother, Jen Soto, for her daughter's sex abuse and murder. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
I think they do it just to mess with me, honestly. This place is filthy and unsanitary in one little thin, scratchy wool blanket, surrounded by crazies all the time.
Well, it's the rest.
I'm surrounded by crazies all the time. Like, whoa. Talk about, I don't know what the word is. Can you guys come up with the word? Definitely not self-aware. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the mother did know. Yeah, the mother knew, because also think about the comment she made. Okay, I'm convinced she knew, because especially now after hearing that comment that he says in the phone call to his parents, where he's like, she used to say to me, like talking about Maddie's mom used to say, "You're not going to leave me for my daughter when she gets older, are you?" Ew. That is so weird. Who would ask that of their preteen daughter? Like, oh, are you going to leave me for my preteen daughter when she gets older? So after I heard that, like, that made me convinced that she knew something was going on. You know, like, why would you? That is weird. Why would having any type of feelings like that? That is disgusting. Yeah.
You're charged with murder, Stefan Stearns. The murder of the girl. Hello? I know you're watching the Jailhouse TV on your phone. According to police, thousands of images of Maddie Soto were found, naked, being, and more. Okay, that's you. And now you're complaining about your mattress? Going so far as to give the jail a 1-star review on Yelp? What are you thinking? Stories are changing, and all I can say is thank you, heaven, for technology, or I would never be able to hear what Stefan Stearns is claiming. For instance, that his girlfriend, Jen Soto, she's the one to blame for little Maddie's and sex abuse and so much more. And he's now saying, wait for it, that he found Maddie's body ice cold, her lips blue. Listen.
Just seeing her pale face and blue lips and how ice cold she was, and it's crazy.
I was going to stay with you. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember seeing my brother when he had passed away, and that's the last thing I remember seeing of him. And so.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you can tell.
Yes, you can. My dad, yeah.
It's just, when they're gone, really, really, truly gone, it's just, there's nothing you can do. There's no coming back.
Yeah.
Well, you could get the death penalty. You could do that. But whoa. Okay. With me an all-star panel to make sense of what I'm hearing. And I've got a ton of these jailhouse calls. I don't know if I can even get through them all.
A really creepy voice, doesn't he? He is so creepy, dude. Ugh, he's a creep. Just a creep.
Because each one is a bombshell. This is going to be hard, but Joe Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, I'll give him the whole intro in a moment, but just one word, what was this girl's COD, cause of death? One word.
Yeah, it was strangulation, Nancy, up close and personal, with his hands wrapped around her neck.
Shannon Butler joining me, investigative reporter, WFTV Channel 9 in...
Yeah, because she was probably going to tell something, you know? Who's to say that Maddie and him didn't, or not Maddie, I'm sorry, my apologies, Maddie's mother and him didn't plan to do this to her because she wouldn't tell on their little sick secret. Because she knew, like, why would she joke about, oh, you're going to leave me for my daughter? That I can't let go. That is not normal. That is not a normal statement. I agree. Cold November rain.
Jurisdiction in Florida. Shannon, there's so much in these jailhouse calls, and I cannot wait for them to be played in front of a jury. From giving the jailhouse a 1-star review on Yelp for their food and mattress, whining about the lights. It goes on and on, blaming Jen Soto, Maddie's mother, for her sex abuse and murder. But now, and I find more probative, Shannon, he's giving more stories about how Maddie was killed. And the reason I went to Joe Scott Morgan, for Pete's sake, he's a death investigator, 1,000 cases under his belt, is because you hear him on the jailhouse call stating that when you find them that way, that's really going to stay with you. When you find them that way. And they compare, the mom and dad compare Maddie's murder to an elderly uncle or brother passing away. What, from old age? Maddie was strangled dead, likely after being... What is this guy thinking?
Well, and according to him, he knew that, right? Because he also says on these calls that he had seen her autopsy. But what he could not explain, even to his parents when they tried to ask some questions, was what happened between 11 p.m. when she supposedly went upstairs with him in that bedroom and what happened at dawn where he now says he found her. So the parents kind of asked, well, what happened? And he's like, well, I don't know. I just came back in the room. I can't sleep at night. So she started with me in the room. Then I got up and walked around the house because, I can never sleep. And when I came back, that's how I found her. Could not explain all of those hours before he now says he found her body, which is a story, by the way, that we had never heard. We've heard a few stories from him, but this was the first time we heard that.
What's wrong? I don't even, oh my God. It's just, this guy makes my skin crawl. Like, seriously makes me nauseous, dude. I hope is it true though? Maybe his parents aren't talking to him anymore because like, oh my God, like hopefully that is true because like this guy needs like seriously some major tough love. And that means like, because he does not seem to be taking responsibility at all. He doesn't need his parents like enabling him and making him think it's okay. He needs to feel like a piece of shit. So I really do hope his parents like give him some tough love and cut his ass off for a really long time. I understand it's their son, but this is just inexcusable. And I mean, it's just one of those inexcusable crimes that you just don't do. It's a child. And yeah, no. That's why that's why I pulled away from like these cases, because like child cases like this.
Shannon Butler joining us, investigator for WFTV. I am beside myself. Not only that the girl died in her own home with her mom snoring away in the next room or a few rooms over, but could you just give everyone a
I love Nancy Grace. I'm sorry, because what else can you do? Because otherwise you're going to cry, right? You got to laugh or you're going to cry. You got to make jokes because these people, it's just so sad. Like, it's just frustrating. Like, she's saying, you got her mom just snoring away over in the other room, Oh, that's just no problem in the world. I just need my beauty sleep over here. You guys go over there, I really need my sleep, so you guys go sleep elsewhere. I needed my beauty rest. Ew. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'll play this while I'm gone. Listen to certain words he uses, such as he was haunting around the house in this call. Yeah, that is weird. Another Summer Walls case. Haunting around the house. That is a really weird choice of words. Haunting around the house. You know what? That is a very, very, very good point, Angie. I love that, actually, because it reminds me of something like a deception detective would say, is like paying attention to certain people, like I think it was Deception Detective that I learned that from, that it was something similar about people using words like that, like haunting. What an interesting choice of words, right? He was haunting around the house. Haunting is related to kind of death, when you think of something being haunted, it's because of it's a spirit being haunted by a spirit of the dead. You guys understand what I'm saying, right? So that's already kind of, it's weird choice of words. I think it was the deception detective that I learned something like that. Is a very good point. Paying attention to certain words like that tells on, like when suspects tell on themselves by certain words they use, like haunting around the house, like that's really weird. Odd choice, but he's an odd character. He is an eccentric character anyways. He does seem to use odd word choices usually, like Jody Sue Brown. Very similar in how they talk, that you like to use. So, he is an odd character. I guess it's normal for him to talk like that too. His baseline is already eccentric and weird.
Refresher, a nutshell, a cliff note on what was found on Stearns' own cell phone after he tried to wipe it of all its information.
Oh, horrifying images of abusing Madeline Soto since she was 8, 9, 10 years old. That's the videos that they found on his phone. He tried to get rid of them. He didn't. That was, obviously immediate red flag for law enforcement. And now to say, I didn't have anything to do with any of this. She slept with me. None of this, happened. I left, and, I guess he must have forgotten that they had lots and lots of video of what happens in the evening.
It's amazing to me, and I'm going to play in just a moment, how his mom totally enabling him, saying this was forced on you. You were set up. And actually telling him, yeah, you have PTSD because you found her body. Okay, to Philip Dubé joining me. Philip, we're not in court, okay? You don't have to impress a high-paying client, so don't throw any Latin phrases at me. Let's not make anything up, just spin it out of whole cloth. What kind of a sick freak, not only repeatedly a child over and over, but films it?
One who engages in what I call virtual porn. That would be the defense, because they have to...
What the hell does that mean? That would be a virtual... What? That's why I say he's like Don Wells. Freaking terabyte. What the hell, dude? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That is so fucking ridiculous, dude. That is disgusting. The guy has a major problem. Ew, sicko, freaking weird. Weird-o. I wonder if they saw... I guess they haven't said anything about finding any other victims of his on there or anything, but... Well, why? He has his victim right there. He has such easy access to a victim right there, thanks to his girlfriend, his live-in girlfriend or whatever they are. Oh, PTSD from... yeah, when his mom says, "Oh, I hope you're getting help for the PTSD you get you have from finding her body." Oh my god, dude, that is such a freaking... That is such a... Oh. So disrespectful to Maddie, in my opinion. But, maybe... I feel like maybe they just really wanted to believe him at first, and things may have changed. That was right soon after, so of course you want to definitely believe your son. But just like she said, just like the lady from Plunder said, at this point they would have known about the 1,700 images or whatever that was found, right? So when these calls with these parents are coming out about this time, they would have known about, they found these images of Maddie, you know? Dude, I mean, how can you defend that? Or how can you sit there and be like, oh, are you going to get help for your PTSD? Huh.
According to a case from the U.S. Supreme Court dating back to 2002 called Ashcroft, that it is a live person. You're looking at me like I'm nuts, but that is a valid First Amendment defense. How are they going to lay a foundation that
Wait.
live person?
Jackie, I need a nitroglycerin pill, and I need it right now. Okay. First Amendment, right to free speech.
Correct. Political, cultural.
That may
and
work in California,
yes.
but I guarantee you it's not going to work in Florida. Did you just say virtual porn could be a defense?
Correct.
To murder?
Well, to the sex crimes.
Why did I open Pandora's box and ask him a question? Never mind. Erase.
Right? She said erased. Exactly. What the hell was that, dude? Oh my God. This guy to me gives. I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, guys, please forgive me. I'm not trying to be a bully, but this guy freaking gives me creep vibes. I don't like that response. Something was weird with that. I agree, Nancy. What was up with that? What was that? What he just said? He talks just like freaking Jody Sue and freaking that other Steven Stearns guy. They talk similar. All three of them. You know what that means. Oh my God. Whoa. And I don't mean that they're all I don't mean that they're all predators of children either. That's not what I mean. I just mean that they're strange, odd people. Psychopaths in some way. Not necessarily a child abuser, okay? That's not what I'm saying. Steven Stearns, or whatever his name is, definitely is. The one that Maddie Soto's whatever he was. Yeah, I can't watch what he just... I don't know if I want to even watch what he just said again, because that was so weird. It creeped me out for some reason.
Erase. Let's go back to the jailhouse calls. Guys, while Dubé stews in his own juices, coming up with a zany defense of virtual porn, let's listen to more.
Oh my God.
Stefan Stearns.
Hold on. Wait. I have to hear that again.
Back to the jailhouse calls. Guys, while Dubé stews in his own juices, coming up with a zany defense of virtual porn, let's listen to more of Stefan Stearns' jailhouse calls. Now, in this one, he is blaming Soto, Maddie's mom, and yes, there's a lot to be said about her. But how can you blame her for Maddie's and murder? But just listen.
You know, Stefan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that she had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. You just hear that? She was aware of Maddie's feelings towards me. And then they want to be like, oh, there's no way she wasn't aware of it. This is so freaking gross, dude. Oh my God, I'm appalled. Because how can all those parents, they're shifting the blame away from their son. They should be disgusted with their son, too. Okay, but they want to just act like just put. I mean, I get it. I get what people freaking do. They like to freaking shift the blame. Like they want. I hope to God they came to their senses. This is just ridiculous. Like, yeah, Maddie's mother. What's her name again? Well, I don't know why I'm having a freaking brain fart. I can't remember Maddie's mother's name. But anyways, she needs to be arrested as well. I agree, she's gross too, but like, I mean, I don't know. We'll just listen to Nancy. Go ahead.
She used to joke about it, call it an electrocomplex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older.
Okay, hold on.
You better not leave me for my daughter when she's older.
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it
She said, why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
an electrocomplex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older. Things like that.
She was 10. He said, when she was 10, she said, you better not leave me for my daughter.
Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
Oh my gosh. Talking about how nice he looks and so gross, dude. That is definitely not appropriate at all. You're right. It's not appropriate, Stephen, whatever the fuck your name is. Ew. Then why aren't you freaking taking accountability and saying guilty? I don't know what's freaking going on with this case, but this is disgusting. I haven't been following it really closely, so maybe I don't know has he been sitting? So I haven't even been following it, guys. Sorry, I'm brain dead. What's going on, right? But this is hearing. I mean, as far as where it is in the trial, I know he's arrested. I do know that, and I know the mother's not arrested, but needs to be. I do know that, in my opinion. Major delusional stage, but I do give dad credit when he tells him son fucked on your son. Okay, wait, it says major delusional stage, but I do give dad credit when he tells him, son, you're fucked on the first charge. Hope the other proves differently. Wow. I'll have to hear what maybe you're talking about, but this part is just crazy what they say right here.
You better not leave me for my daughter when she's older. Things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
Ew.
Like murder is. Okay, wait. I can hardly piece this apart. Shannon Butler, help me. I got to bring in a shrink also to explain what is an electrocomplex, but I'm not a shrink. Neither of you. You give me the facts. Did you hear what he just says? The mom says basically Jen Soto set you up. That she was, quote, aware of Maddie's feelings about me. And the mom, this Deborah Stearns, well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you? Like, What? Like it's Jen's fault? And I'm certainly not defending the mother.
Right.
He said she used to joke about it, call it Electra, and warn me I could never leave her for her daughter. What? What is he talking about, Shannon?
Well, remember, there's all these conversations about how Jen always thought this was kind of a Woody Allen situation and that could happen. So it was very clear that Jen Soto had some indication that something was just not right in this relationship. But for whatever reason, that did not change her letting, Madeline Soto sleep with him.
Soto didn't respond to our request for comments. Imagine that.
Both of them. It is so bizarre to me. And this is what, at least here in Orlando, all the viewers.
Did you respond to my request for comments?
Like that. They immediately believe that Jen Soto had to have known something and that nothing's happened in that case, right? She is not charged with anything. And people just can't understand how a mother would joke about anything like that.
Okay, here we go. Wait, Shannon, hold on. You're jumping on the bandwagon. And yes, I've got huge problems with Jen Soto. Huge. Sending her daughter off to sleep, and this was much younger than 14, alone with her live-in boyfriend. But she, Jen Soto, may have been wrong. Well, forget it. She was wrong. That's a whole other can of worms. Maybe they haven't charged her because they want her testimony. I don't know what they're doing. And of course, she hasn't been charged. She's innocent until proven guilty. I'm talking about the murder. Tom Smith is joining me, former NYPD detective. I'm beside myself. Guys, if you want to find Tom Smith, he is co-host of the Gold Shield Show at goldshieldShow.com. Why? I've got a dead girl body dumped. Video has emerged of what we believe is Stefan Stearns dumping her limp body. Another bombshell tonight is that decomp, enzymes from decomp, were found on the front seat of the car where he, Stefan Stearns, had Maddie buckled in like they're riding to school.
Yeah, that's weird.
She decomped onto the front seat. Yeah, explain that, Stearns. How are you going to blame Jen Soto for that? And listen, Tom Smith, I'm not defending Jen Soto. I'm talking about the murder and Stefan Stearns blaming her. I mean, it's always like this. It's always this, pointing the finger at somebody else.
Right. This is a monster. Bottom line, end of discussion, where he took the life of this young girl and just blames everybody else for his actions. He's very well aware of what he did and how he did it, but tends to, let's deflect to this and that. I mean, he is a flat-out monster. And the other part of this, like you said, this girl was surrounded by people that enabled him to do this, and she was the poor victim in this.
This one talking right now.
This guy's parents, all having an understanding of what was going on and let it happen, and inevitably just took her life.
You know, Philip Dubé, veteran trial lawyer out of LA County, don't you just love when you find out what your client's really thinking on jailhouse calls? It's not like they don't know they're being recorded. Every 30 seconds or so, there's a recording that states you're on a jail line. Everybody knows what's happening, but yet they still blab.
Yeah, I don't know where that whole phenomenon comes from, except to say that they think that if they...
But these people don't... I don't think that they... do you guys think he knew that his calls would be put out with his parents? Do you guys think that? Or do you think his parents... I mean, what about his parents? Do you think they knew that all this was going to be put out? Do you think people warned them about their calls being put out? I'm just curious what you guys think. Hey, Laura.
change their original story into multiple iterations of how it could have gone down, that they're saving their hide. But the truth is they're creating multiple inconsistencies and it points toward guilt. I tell every client, the initial consult, don't talk to anybody. Don't talk on the phone about your case. If you have to, just talk about the weather, talk about your favorite holiday, talk about how much you miss everybody, but don't get into the facts of your case. Otherwise, you know what happens? I get a terabyte of data on an external hard drive that I got to listen to from the DA's office and then have to sit down and lock up and play for the client. And what does it really amount to? Additional inculpatory evidence.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. There is a growing crime trend the FBI calls house stealing. Criminals forge.
And after everything was said and done, so like just seeing her pale face, blue lips, and how ice cold she was, and when someone's that ice cold and just.
Philip Dubé, why didn't he call 911 if he just found her, quote, ice cold with blue lips? Why did he think it was a better idea to dress her up in school clothes and strap her dead body into his car and drive around like he was taking her to school, and then throw away her laptop and her backpack and throw her body in a densely wooded area when he could have just called 911? Thoughts?
The only arguments that he can avail himself to is that he was trying to protect the mother. That there, believe it or not, there was still some type of feelings toward the mother and he didn't want her to get into trouble. And certainly he did not want to be accused of doing anything to the child. So what do? The first thing that comes to mind is you ditch the evidence, if you will. And in this particular case, it happens to be the remains of this child. And he was in panic mode. And what do you do in panic mode? You don't think things through. You do things sort of off the cuff, like an amateur. And he got caught.
Okay, wait, so hold on. Are you actually going along with his theory, Philip Dubé, that he found Maddie dead?
No, not in the least. But if I had to defend him, that would be the argument. Believe me, this man would not want me on his jury. But I'm just saying that if I were commissioned by the court to defend him, I would argue to the jury that he had no hand in her death, had nothing to do with it, and point the finger to a third-party culprit. And who would be the easy dupe in this case? The mother.
Okay, you would actually say that to a jury even though you believe it's a lie?
There is no room for political correctness in a criminal trial. If you're going to worry about what the public, what the court...
I'm not asking what the public thinks. I'm asking you, could you argue that to a straight face to a jury when you believe in your heart?
That's a tough question. Isn't that kind of your job, though, as a defense attorney? That's a tough question. That's a tough spot that she's putting this guy on. You could tell she doesn't like this guy, but... I get it. I do, but that's the job of a defense attorney. You know what I mean? What was that pick of trash? I'm not sure. But let's hear what he says.
Of course. Look, my beliefs, my personal judgment do not shade or color how I defend a client. All I need to know is that my theories are supported by sufficient evidence. If they are supported, I think it would be legal malpractice not to present it on the client's behalf and leave it in the hands of a jury to decide what, if anything, to do with it. But to just leave it, I could see an appellate attorney all over it on appeal, especially if he's condemned for murder.
Guys, we're talking about Stefan Stern's secret jailhouse calls just revealed. Now, here he seems to blame Maddie's murder on lack of boundaries and poor, quote, sleeping arrangements. Listen.
I always had an issue with boundaries. She never respected any boundaries that I tried to set. We've gotten arguments on more than one occasion about the sleeping arrangements. So I, would beg her, please make her go sleep in her own room. And she said, no, it's easier this way for me to wake her up when she's near me. And
this is so weird. Oh, that he has to. Oh, please let her have her sleep elsewhere. what the? That's just so. No, dude, you can't. I don't care. You cannot make excuses for your freaking whatever sick kind of shit you were doing. I agree with Nancy that when we're looking at her murder, there are two different crimes here. Or like the murder. I don't know. I mean, I feel like possibly Jen Soto could be involved, like, with the murder. I kind of feel like it's possible that they needed to get rid of her so she wouldn't tell what was going on, you know? So I mean, that's just I definitely feel like that's a very good probability.
Hold on. Joe Scott Morgan, help me. Joe Scott Morgan joining me, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, star of a hit podcast series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. It goes on and on. Joe Scott, do you hear this? I don't know how many child murder cases you have dealt with, but Stefan Stearns, charged in Maddie Soto's murder, says, I beg the mom, make her sleep in her own room. And so
It's beyond bizarre when you begin to think about this, and over and over and over again. The thing about it is, from an evidentiary standpoint, this guy has literally documented his steps up to the gallows. When you begin to think about this over all of these years relative to these horrible images that have been recovered. And then we have to get to this point where he is finding her cold, her lips are blue, these sorts of things. I'll tell you why her lips are blue. Because
I'm guessing that these phone calls are, if it says that he hasn't been convicted yet, then I'm surprised that they're releasing these calls, because can't this kind of I mean, I feel like I could feel like he's guilty just from these phone calls. So I can see it really tainting the jury pool, but it doesn't matter. He's guilty anyway, so either that or the mother was scared he would leave her for her daughter. Yeah. But it sounded like she was pushing him on her.
If in fact we are to believe, and I do, what the medical examiner said, that this is an asphyxial death vis-a-vis strangulation, that means that she would have become cyanotic as hands, perhaps his, were wrapped around her throat and squeezed the life out of her. So her lips are in fact going to turn blue. It's not just as a result of decompositional changes. You have this that's going on, and we still don't know everything relative to the autopsy report. One of the things that they're thinking about, and they have expressed concern, and I use that term in quotes, is the hyoid bone. There's something that they're seeing with the hyoid bone. And Nancy, as you well know, generally the only way that a hyoid bone becomes fractured is by applying direct pressure, generally through manual strangulation.
Joe Scott, whenever anyone says hyoid bone, I feel it's important that we show where the hyoid is, if you could.
It's the only non-articulate. It's the only non-articulate.
Hey, front porch. So what was I going to say about, I'm sitting here eating this funnel cake thing that Fred made. and I got distracted. But I had something to say about that weirdo guy, Stefan Stearns. And the mother. I feel like she seemed to almost encourage that relationship. But it doesn't matter how much the mother pushed it or whatever. He still has to be an adult, and I mean, he can't blame somebody else. I don't know. It's weird. There was something else I was going to say, but I forget now.
Articulating bone in the body. That means it doesn't connect to any other bony structures. Its sole purpose, Nancy, is to anchor the tongue in the back of the neck or in the back of the throat. So it's right in this, and it's kind of, we describe it in forensic pathology as being bird shaped, all right, but it's kind of in a horseshoe shape, and it anchors the tongue in the back of the throat.
I think it looks like a wishbone.
It kind of does, only without the little stem on it, okay? But it looks more like a bird.
It's not really attached to any bones. It's not like the hip bone connected to the leg bone. It's not connected. It's just hanging there.
Yeah, it is. And it's got two horns, two major horns and lesser horns that are up here. And when it's snapped, you can see these little fracture lines, and there'll be focal areas of hemorrhage in there as well. They're seeing something there, Nancy. This is repeated over and over again relative to the hyoid bone. They have concern about it. That means direct pressure would have had to have been applied in order to fracture this thing. And that means coming in with a C-clamp or throttling, this sort of thing, in order to choke the life out of this child.
So, guys, not with what Joe Scott said, all correct, I might add, from what we've been able to glean from word about the autopsy report. What is Stefan Stearns' response? He says, "No one respected my boundaries." And then he blames the whole thing because Jen Soto didn't give him any privacy.
I think I'm saying something about not being able to go into some details. You're right. So they did know about the phone calls being recorded. But I wonder if they really thought that they would be put out on YouTube channels, you know?
Not to hear this.
We didn't have any privacy, and we, just didn't have any space to ourselves. And she would suggest, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And it's like, it's like a twin bed, and I'm, 6+ feet, and no. Why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king size bed? We should have broken up a long time ago and just.
So she would ask him to go sleep in a twin size bed with her? Yeah, that's weird. Hey, Tina. Where are you picking him up from? Well, never mind. Don't tell your location, but be careful. But yeah, he can't blame this whole thing of this whole relationship, inappropriate relationship he had with Maddie. He can't blame that all on Jen. I mean, come on now. She needs charges, yes. Definite. She should be in prison for some years. I can't even question if she's possibly involved somehow in her death, but in some way. But they haven't charged her of anything, so I'm guessing. I mean, they know more than I do. But didn't they give her some kind of immunity or something? Or is that wrong? I don't know. No, actually, I don't think. Actually, I think I remember saying that they did not. She does not have immunity. They could charge her at any time, if I remember right. But no, he cannot. I know he wants to sit here and put this on other people, and maybe his parents do want to put this on somebody else to make him feel a little bit better for some kind of weird sexual relationship he had with the child, and all these pictures and videos he was taking? Did Jen tell him to do that too? Did Jen encourage him to take all those pictures? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve this.
I think they do it just to mess with me, honestly. This place is filthy and unsanitary, and one little thin, scratchy wool blanket, surrounded by crazies all the time.
Well, it's not the Ritz.
They're all very...
the Ritz. That part is funny. Wade Wilson started a new trend to the CrimeTube world with the jailhouse calls, right? Yeah, it does kind of seem like that. It does seem like that. And, I did jailhouse calls too. Actually, the Z started it. I'm just kidding. But no, really, I do feel like it seemed like when Wade Wilson now all of a sudden, it does. I feel like there is more of a surge in them too. I feel like it does seem like that, but I don't know if it's just because I don't know if we're just so extra focused on them right now or what. Because there's always been these jail phone conversations, but it's weird that he hasn't been convicted out yet, and they put these out. Can we FOIA Don Wells like jail calls when he was in jail? I basically have all Fred Hill's jail calls. And, people wanted to get us in trouble for posting our jail calls. Like, what the hell?
Be happy to be reunited. It had been months since we'd all seen each other, and there's no reason that I would have given all of that up for literally no reason to hurt her and traded all this for this.
No, there isn't. But there's jealousy on the other side, too. I mean, if she told you, I hope you don't leave me for my daughter, that tells me that she was thinking about that for a while.
Guys, we are getting a treasure trove of evidence just released. These are secretly recorded jailhouse calls. Now, I don't know how secret they are because typically in jailhouse calls, you hear on the line the caller and the receiver of the call can hear a recording stating that this is a call from a CI Correctional Institute. Everybody knows they're recorded. I guess they think the prosecutors just won't make the effort to listen to them. Well, guess what? They did. Joining me now, special guest Barry Hutchinson, 26 years in L.A., now owner of Barry & Associates Investigative Services.
I know they
Barry, thank you for being with us. Barry, here we hear it goes on and on and on.
That's definitely
we hear Stefan Stearns and mother
we'll
Deborah
have to do a
stating
live like update. I don't know what some information we
about this for a long time.
I'm sure
they're basically trying to blame Jen Soto for her daughter's murder. Did you hear that?
I think that this whole family is so screwed up. I guarantee you,
Wait
if
a
I was
minute, Barry Hutchinson.
Stephen.
I don't care. I don't care who has a history of what. We're at the innocence guilt phase. This is going to a trial. I don't care who wet their bed when they were 3 years old. Don't care. I care who killed this little girl who her repeatedly and murdered her. Now we hear
looks like
Stefan Stearns claiming that Jen Soto, the mother, had been, quote, thinking about this for a long time. We see where he's going with this.
Oh, yeah, he's going to try to point the accusatory finger toward her, to a certain degree to take some of the heat off of him. But you know what? When you've got a dead body on video leaning to the left in a vehicle that's been seen, and then you have a cadaver dog get a hit on trace chemical for decomposition, I think there's a couple of nails in your coffin there, pal.
Well, Ray, you actually have a little bit of a leg to stand on. in that there's a way for this guy to escape the death penalty. And I'll tell you what I think it is. The jury will be angry at Jen Soto, and they may partially blame her for ignoring the fact right under her nose, just rubbing her nose in it, that Stefan Stearns, her live-in boyfriend Mooch, does he even have a job? Was sleeping with her daughter every night. The little girl said she wanted to go live in the woods. Wonder why. So the jury, right or wrong,
Ew.
may partially blame Jen Soto for the
If she's wanting to live in the woods, it doesn't. I mean, was she really? What did she really have feeling? I don't know what has developed from it. Like, I mean, it sounds like she was groomed from a young age, but it doesn't sound to me very. I mean, he does not seem like a victim in any way to me. All I keep thinking about is all those photos he took. If there wasn't, I mean, come on now. Oh, there is so many photos from 8 years old we hear and video. There is no way he can sit here and put this all on somebody else and try to put the blame and say, oh, Jen pushed her onto me. You know, she was made to sleep together in bed. You've got to be kidding me. Oh. I mean, you're an adult. If you know what's wrong, then you figure out you figure it out. You make her go have her sleep on the twin bed. No. Because then you guys sleep together. Ew, no. You guys figure it out. You don't go send your daughter to a twin bed with your boyfriend. That is so. I mean, she's like, no, that is your preteen daughter. That is so not right. And he knows it because you could hear him his phone call. The way that they're talking, they knew it was wrong. These phone calls, totally incriminating, in my opinion. All right, it sounds good. Cold November rain. We're just chilling. It's nothing.
Situation.
I know it's an odd time.
Reason. Well, she's
4 a.m. almost.
getting convicted. I sure is HELL and not sending him to the death penalty.
I agree with you 100% on that. They're not even assuming that they think mom had a hand in it by looking the other way, with, blissful ignorance and blind fate, whatever you want to call it. He is the one on trial, not her. His only other hope to be spared of death is the new law in Florida, where they allow for an 8-4 verdict in the penalty phase to execute. If they come back, let's say 8-4 or 9-3 or some other non-unanimous split, that could spare him death.
Guys, there's more of Stefan Stearns whining, and I haven't even gotten him whining about his mattress and the food. So far, he's been blaming Jen Soto for Maddie's death. And we're all angry that Jen Soto allowed a situation where her daughter slept night after night after night with her mooch live-in boyfriend. But to blame her...
Are you serious about they're going to sell that vehicle? They gave that vehicle back to... Are you sure? How could they sell that vehicle if this is not a... That does not seem correct. Are you talking about the actual vehicle that she was transported in? I would think that was in the custody of law enforcement. I don't see how that could even be released. Well, there's not even a conviction. God, I
for the murder itself is a whole other thing, and that sounds like what he and his mommy and daddy.
Yes, also what they did with the. Well, I mean, guess look what they did with the Idaho house. they burnt that house, demolished that house. So hell, I don't know.
Hooking up. Remember, the mommy and the daddy are not charged with anything. Oh, and I haven't even got to them claiming that he has PTSD because he found the body. I mean, really? But that said, listen to this.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. You know, I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that, and deserved the
Upstairs and shaking her awake and called 911 and all that. That doesn't make sense. I thought she was upstairs. So why you run downstairs and to shake her awake? Isn't that what he said? Run downstairs.
Listen to this.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. You know, I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that, and
yeah.
deserved the
Well, I wish you had too. I wish you had too. Maybe she could have been saved, but you know.
She was beyond that.
Why would you wish to run down there then? Why would you say, I wish I would have done the right thing? If she was beyond that, then why would you? You are so full of shit, dude. Parents are asking him to sign paperwork over to them. Idle house is demolished because people buy homes after homicides too, so maybe I'm... Oh my god. When they pulled his pants down in that room, they're on the picture. I wish that they would have took the tweezers and, you know... Oh my god.
Joining me, investigative reporter who has poured through every one of these recordings word by word. Dave Mack, can you believe what you're hearing? I wish I had shaken her awake and called 911. Yeah, why didn't you?
How can you guys, I mean, how can a mother sit there and sleep or be with a man that they... that is disgusting. Like, I could never see being... Ew. That is ew. But I guess for some, it's somehow not disgusting to them, I guess. I guess it's quite the opposite to them. I just don't understand how a grown woman could be attracted to a man that they know is messing around with their daughter. Their preteen daughter, you know, and be like, oh, you're not going to leave me for my daughter someday, are you? Go sleep together in a twin-size bed. I need good night's sleep tonight. Yeah, she sounds very selfish. And definitely... really, I don't know what kind of weirdo sick mind she's got, but something can't be right.
They are feeding into it. The mommy and the daddy are basically feeding their baby boy on a silver spoon a whole plate full of BS.
Yep. And I think that we're seeing that played out where he, for some reason, is trying to snow job his parents and believe that they're believing him. And that's when his mother says, you know, are they treating you for PTSD after what you've found? I mean, they're living in a real fantasy world, Nancy. This is only something that a child, and I mean a child, talks to their parents like this. But we're dealing with somebody who's supposedly an adult grown-up man and two adult grown-up parents, and they're acting like it's a 6-year-old who got caught cheating in first grade on a spelling test.
Man, you put it better than I could have, Dave Mack. So, Dave, listen to this. His new story is evolving, and Dubé, prick your ears up on this, because this is where the defense is going. There's a whole new story about how Maddie died. And try to, you know, on The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy catches the wizard working the machines, and he says, don't look at the man behind the curtain. I guess they want the jury not to remember all the rape videos of this little girl on Stefan Stern's phone and that hyoid bone being broken or dislodged, like Joe Scott Morgan was just describing? Yeah, don't look at that. Look at this. Listen to the new theory emerge.
She was in a different part of the house?
Yeah.
She wasn't with you?
Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while I was sort of just walking around and, haunting around the house like I do.
Were you awake when sent her into the room with you?
Yeah.
And she was fine when she came into your room? What time at night was that?
Maybe 11-ish or so, I'm not sure.
Okay. So she was fine, so what happened between 11 and whenever you found her?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
That is the main question. So, Dave Mack, what, is he is he actually going to say, she came into my bedroom because they just don't have boundaries. They didn't respect my privacy. And then he goes outside to breathe in the night air.
He doesn't respect Maddie's privacy and boundaries. Neither does, either does, in my opinion, her mother, but.
Right. And he comes back and she's dead. And instead of calling 911, and she's cold, by the way, Joe Scott Morgan's going to have a field day with the fact that she was already cold to the touch. He finds her cold to the touch and then decides instead of calling 911 that he'll just dress her for school, strap her body in the car, drive around, and then dump her body. Is that right, Dave Mack?
That is what he's shoveling, but I found something fascinating in the way he's talking to his parents, because he tries to pull them back into things they remember from him as a child. Like when he talked about how he had left her alone for a while, and he mentions walking around the house, and he called it haunting around the house, as I like to do. He's trying to relate this to something that they can understand.
Nice choice of words. I love how you brought that up, Angie. The haunting. That interesting choice of words for sure. Why are you joking around talking about such a thing? Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you're in the wrong channel. We're not gonna be like constantly just sad over here. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, these things are very depressing, and you, like I said earlier, you've got to, just like Nancy Grace, look how she is, how she deals with talking about these things. She's always like being sarcastic and funny, You've got to laugh or you'll cry. It's really just absolutely appalling the things these people this shouldn't even be this should be unacceptable behavior. I mean, it's disgusting. What is that, Maddie, in the reflection of his sunglasses? Oh shit, where was that?
Nancy, this is only something that a child, and I mean a child, talks to their parents like this. But we're dealing with somebody who's supposedly an adult, grown-up man and two adult, grown-up parents, and they're acting like it's a 6-year-old who got caught cheating in first grade on a spelling test.
Man, you did it better than I could have, Dave Mack.
No.
Listen to this. His new...
haunting around the house like I do.
Were you awake when sent her into the room with you?
Yeah.
11 and whenever you found her.
Listen,
that is the main question. So, Dave Mack, what, is he actually going to say she came in my bedroom?
She laughed. Nancy Grace laughed. How dare she? Why is she joking around and daring talking about such a thing? Shame on her. Oh my.
because they just don't have boundaries. They didn't respect my privacy. And then he goes outside to bring
This is
in the
so
night air
ridiculous.
light.
This guy
And he
is so
comes back and
ridiculous.
she's dead. And instead of calling 911, and she's cold, by the way. Morgan's going to have a field day with the fact that she was already cold to the touch. He finds her cold to the touch and then decides instead of calling
I'm
911.
not talking about you, Tina. It's this account called Shame on You. They said, "Why are you joking around talking about such a thing? You have been laughing a lot throughout your commentary. That's pretty messed up, dude." Let's see when they let's see when they just made their account. They just joined YouTube like exactly a month ago. Anyways. So they're like, how dare you laugh? How dare you joke around? Yeah, I mean, it's just it's unfortunately.
That he'll just dress her for school, strap her body in a car, drive around, and then dump her body. Is that right, Dave Mack?
That is what he's shoveling, but I found something
Oh,
fascinating.
here.
The
Okay.
way he's talking to his.
You mean right here in this reflection? You know, it does kind of look like it to me.
Parents, because he tries to pull them back into things they remember from him as a child. Like when he talked about how he had left her alone for a while, and he mentions walking around the house, and he called it haunting around the house, as I like to do. He's trying to relate this to something that they can understand.
What mean to you, Tina? You've never ever said anything like upsetting ever that I can ever. I mean. If you did say something upsetting, I would be like, wait, I would be like, what did you? Because it would be so not your character.
Stand and identify with and believe him.
Yeah,
because to anybody else looking at his story, you're going, this is total BS. But his parents, he can milk these moments of past and present and blur them together so that they're like, hey, yeah, I want to believe my son. I want to believe he's telling the truth. And that's where he gives them those bits that make no sense to us, but that they can hold on to.
Oh, the devil is in the details. Stern, please, keep talking. Listen to this.
Well, I discovered her. In the state that she was in after everything was said and done. So I mean, I guess
Everything was said and done. Ew. What the? Ew, I don't even want to know what that even freaking means.
Get into detail, but no, I was not aware that she had passed on. As you know, I'm up and down throughout the night, and I was not in the room the whole time.
Mm-hmm. So he wasn't aware she was passed on, yet he found her cold to the touch with her lips blue. Now,
how long does it take for somebody to get cold after death? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have ever found anybody. I mean, gosh. Ugh. I don't know. I don't believe that story. I don't even want to even think about that.
The dad
pass.
realizes the story is not gelling. Listen.
I mean, it's not like you just suddenly feel someone's ghost pass away from them. You know, it's a discovery. And
so she wasn't even in the same room with you?
Well, I mean, she was in the room that I started in, but I'm up and down throughout the night, and I tend to wander around the house and fiddle around on my phone and step out front and feel the cool night air and all that.
Why do he talk about like feel the nice cool air? He talks like such a freaking the weirdo that he is. I'm sorry. He talks as weird as he is. Oh my god. This dude is such a creep.
To go with a nice, cool night air again, Karen Stark. Do you hear him? Later on, he even suggests that someone had drugged Maddie. And he clearly indicates that would be her mother. How much more blame can he heap on other people, claiming he was wandering around the house and while he was wandering, he came back in and found her dead?
Let's be perfectly clear. What's going on here is a cover-up and denial. How does he explain the fact that he took all those photos, the ones that were on his phone, and tried to erase them to make sure nobody would find them? Why would he get rid of her possessions? He's just passing along the blame, and his parents are going along with it. I hypothesize because it's their son, so they're trying to make sense out of it. But all of this, trying to shield the fact that this is a monster, a murderer, that he actually killed this girl, and he's saying as an adult that somebody was forcing him to sleep with her, to be with her, encouraging it, and he had nothing to do with this. This mature man who's become an infant and totally innocent. We know that that is not true.
Who suddenly became an infant and totally innocent, right? Exactly. I love it. And she's just like right there. She takes a break because she's just like, mic drop. That was pretty good.
Well, I'm assuming that they are treating you for PTSD because you found the body, not to mention everything else that went along with that.
Not treating me for anything except my blood pressure.
Well, they need to do the PTSD because you're not sleeping.
Well, you know, it's just, I keep telling myself that I have to maintain my faith. Without faith and trust in God, I have nothing.
Now listen to this. Does anybody know the meaning of narcissist? Here we hear Stefan Stearns asking his parents to dump money into an account for a trust fund for him after they die.
What?
Job prospects are going to be difficult to come by. I might need some sort of resources to help me get back on my feet immediately until I can work out the income situation.
Yeah. Don't know what that would be, but because
I don't know, maybe
we may be gone by the time you get out.
I know. I don't know if there's any way we might be able to set up some sort of trust fund or something.
A trust fund.
Oh my fucking god, dude. Look at her face. That is exactly what I'm thinking. You've got to be fucking kidding me, dude. No fucking way, dude. No. You made your bed, now lay in it. Seriously. He needs, no. Ew. This dude has, no. There's no treatment nor a cure for that sickness. Sorry, Mama Stearns. Yep. Oh my god. Yeah, I know, right, Tina? Like, what the hell, dude?
Dave Mack, what did I just hear?
So, I just heard more and more BS, lies between Stearns trying to sell a bill of goods to his parents. But something that I'm caught with, Nancy, is how a couple of times during the course of these 35 phone calls, he actually, Stearns, mentions hurting his defense by saying something or giving too many details. And if we're truly seeking the truth, and he's truly an innocent man who did nothing wrong, that type of truth is something you want everybody to hear. So you would be saying these details for all the world to hear because you're an innocent guy. They got the wrong man. You know, anything would do. But he keeps covering up. He can't even tell the truth to his parents because he sold them a bill of goods that they're buying into. Our baby boy would never do this.
He even said he's not going to be out when they're alive. He knows that he is like, dude, you are such a piece of shit. Like, I can't even look at this guy. Seriously, I can't even stand to look at him. Can they change the picture?
No.
The
females in his life did wrong, and he's the victim.
Yeah, I remember
gosh.
how he was talking about how Maddie, who's 13, and her mother ogled him and admired him and made a big fuss about him. It's their fault. I mean, narcissism, he wants his parents who are retired to set him up a trust fund of their money to support him when he gets out and after they die. That's what's on his mind.
Oh my God.
Well, of course, Nancy, there's no guilt there because he can't feel. But all he's worried about is what's going to happen in his future. Let them infantilize him and feel like they have to take care of him. It's all so typical.
He just wants something to look forward to. You know what I mean? Because his life is fucking over. So he wants to act like, he just wants to have this glimmer of hope that he'll have, it's all going to be, his life is going to be set when he gets out of prison, when he's 95 years old. Which I don't think this dude will ever get out of prison. He might even he'll probably get the death penalty. He's a freaking weirdo. He deserves it.
I can't think of a single sexual abuser, really somebody who doesn't wind up saying that the children wanted it, that it's perfectly normal. It's okay to do this. And he fits the bill. He's only concerned.
Well, you're right, Karen Stark. Barry Hutchinson, 25 years in LE, now chief investigator, Barry and Associates. Barry, he actually said she started it, talking about the little girl, Maddie, started the molestation.
You know, the whole thing just sounds so sick. But, you know, that's a commonality in these abusers. You know, they like you said earlier, they always try to circumvent guilt of themselves by saying that somebody else is the one that initiated the contact or they're the ones that initiated the abuse. It's just the way that these pedophiles think, you know, and it makes me sick, literally. I mean, child abuse cases like this, I mean,
it's very
entitled. That was one thing in all my career.
Angie, he acts very entitled. Is he an only child? Because he does. He acts very, very entitled.
In law enforcement, that used to bother me the most. Whenever you had, you know, cases like this where, you know, there's an innocent victim that's a child, and you feel like you're sitting in a chair with your hands and your arms tied. You can't do anything about it as an investigator, looking at this POS sitting across from you at a table, knowing damn good and well that you feel like just choking him to death right there at that point, but you can't. And yet they have the audacity to sit there and try to put this whole BS story on you to make you feel sorry for them. And we have to kind of play along with it and be a good actor to try to extricate information from them that's going to put them away for the rest of their life where they can't do it to another child.
Joe Scott Morgan, have you seen it all now? Stefan Stearns wants a trust fund set up by mommy and daddy.
Yeah, one of the most glaring things is that when his dad actually said, well, we might be gone. Did you hear that? And then he just continues on with this through line of all about him. He didn't pause for a moment and say, well, my God, that's horrible. Please don't say that, Dad, that you're going to be gone or that Mama's going to be gone. That's not what it's about. It's about him, you know, moving forward. And he's going to need money when he gets out to get back on his feet. And, you know, that shows you the level of callousness. And he's doing this to his parents. How much more so? How much more so, Nancy, a 13-year-old little girl that he's been victimizing, allegedly, these many years? He's that callous. He's that very callous. He's not genetically connected to her, Nancy. He just views her as something that is disposable. And as we found out, she was kind of tossed away like rubbish, wasn't she?
Maddie Soto was not disposable. We remember American hero, Deputy Sheriff Kenturas Taylor, Bibb County Sheriff's, killed in the line of duty, survived by.
But wow, yeah, that guy's he's a sicko. I'm sorry, those calls are so incriminating to me. I don't, yeah, he knows he's guilty. I mean, listen to him. He even says he knows that he's not getting out in his parents' lifetime. So they know he's guilty. I think that's what they meant by that. I don't think it was like, oh, that was just, he's got a brother, not sure about any other siblings. Brother's a decorated soldier. Well, I don't know. Something's wrong with that guy. All right, guys, I'm going to go. It is 4 a.m. here. I can't believe that, but I am glad I came on here for a little bit and hung out with you guys. Sorry it was so late. I'll try to come on here a little bit more and at least do something like this, watch things with you and stuff. Because I know I haven't been on much, but I watch videos like this anyways. Might as well do it with you guys, all right? So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later.